I have a friend who makes a sport of returning things. Admirably, she has never been turned down. A pair of shoes chosen in the spring might not make their way back to the store until October. A dress which was deemed inappropriate after all may hang in the closet long after the store's return policy permits. But she, a native New Yorker, remains undeterred. She will not take no for an answer, and there is nothing she cannot take back. Today, as we stand on the precipice of the new year, our tradition invites us to return. Return to God, return to the best in ourselves. We are urged to do the hard work of thinking about the ways we have erred and to make amends, to return to those relationships and situations and make them right. But the liturgy of this season puts a no-return policy on three things. It says, 3 things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait, and the helpful word that was spoken too late. These high holy days call us not to delay the sacred task of returning to who we want to be, to repairing relationships in our lives, to preparing for a better new year. There's much to be said for doing things promptly. Just as the reason for having a bris early in the morning is to demonstrate that we are anxious to perform mitzvot, so when it comes time to make changes in our lives, to renounce errors, to move forward, our tradition urges us to just do it early, do it now. But that's not human nature. Even when we know that we have to accomplish a certain task, we often take our time. We consider, we make plans, we hesitate, we find excuses, we procrastinate. Our good intentions are undermined by our habits, by familiar patterns of activity that are comfortable, but not necessarily right or helpful or beneficial. And the liturgy reminds us there are some things that will never return. Some things that have been set in motion cannot be stopped. An arrow, an email, a word. Words are tricky. They can hurt, they can heal, but even children know that they cannot be unsaid. Their effect cannot be undone. There's a saying in our tradition that the power of speech is more powerful than a sword. An arrow can only hurt someone who is within sight. A sword, only those who are near at hand. But words, spoken maliciously or carelessly, can kill the soul of someone who is far away. There's a well-known story of a woman who liked to talk, so much so that no one in town would associate with her. Whatever they shared with her would find its way into her next conversation. And so, feeling a little isolated, she went to her rabbi for some advice. And the rabbi knew her reputation and told her, go home and get a feather pillow and bring it to the town square, and I will meet you there. So she did. He met her there and instructed her, open the pillowcase and shake the feathers out and come see me tomorrow. The next day, the woman came to the rabbi's office at 9 a.m. sharp. And then she was further instructed. Now, go gather the feathers and sleep on the pillow that you've made and come see me tomorrow morning. Well, the woman had a very long day, chasing after the feathers which the wind had blown this way and that. She managed to catch a few which were caught in the bushes or stuck on the lawn, and she spent a sleepless night on the meager pillow that she had fashioned from whatever feathers she had managed to find. The next day, she appeared at the rabbi's study again, but she was in a terrible mood from having slept poorly. Rabbi, she said, I did as you instructed, but there was no way I could gather all those feathers. They've been carried far beyond the confines of our little town to parts of the world I have not visited. Someone else is surely enjoying those plump feathers, because I assure you I did not. My pillow was as flat as could be, and the rabbi looked at her carefully and said, your words are like feathers. They too have traveled far beyond the confines of your relationships. Words like feathers cannot be retrieved once they are set free. 3 things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait. Time has become our greatest luxury. It used to be that time was money, but no amount of riches can replace the hours and minutes that are misspent. Rabbi Ray Zwerin wrote these words, we ignore time as if there were an unlimited supply of the stuff, as if for us it was endless. But it is not endless. It is our most precious commodity. It is the floor on which our life dance is performed. It is the arena in which we play out our years. Each instant is significant. Each year, each decade, all the more so. To realize the value of 1 year, ask a student who has failed a final exam. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who has given birth to a premature baby. To realize the value of a week, ask an editor of a weekly newspaper. To realize the value of an hour, ask the lovers who are waiting to meet. To realize the value of a minute, ask a person who has missed the train, the bus, or a plane. To realize the value of a second, ask a person who has survived an accident. And to realize the value of a millisecond, ask the person who has won the silver medal. To realize the value of a lifetime, ask someone who recently sat Shiva for a loved one, the significance of time passing, of cherishing each and every moment. With each moment's passing, opportunities change, opportunities which shape lives and even history. Remember when the children of Israel were leaving Egypt and came to the shore of the sea. There, our tradition notes, the tribes began to squabble over who was to cross first. And suddenly the argument flipped on its head, and fearful discussion took its place. Looking at the unruly, uncharted waters, tribe after tribe refused to be first, While the Israelites argued and Moses prayerfully implored God for guidance, one man by the name of Nachshon took matters into his own hands. He jumped in, feet first. Only then, after his courageous display of confidence, after he embraced the moment, did the sea begin to recede, all at the appointed hour. Had Nachshon waited, we might still be in Egypt. 3 things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait, and the helpful word that was spoken too late. The Talmud records, words that are in the heart are not words. So the motto, it's the thought that counts, is not sufficient. Our thoughts must be expressed and shared with others. The rabbis tell us that it happened once that Rabbi Eliezer, who was recognized as the greatest scholar of his generation, prayed for rain, and nothing happened. And then Rabbi Akiva, who at that point was still a young nobody, prayed a short prayer, and rain fell. A voice came from heaven and called out, saying, "It is not that Akiva is a greater scholar, but Rabbi Eliezer remembers those who slight him, and Rabbi Akiva forgives." The time to speak the forgiving word is now, for we know of too many who have reached the end of their days and taken the words with them. The tradition says that we must repent the day before our death, and not knowing when that will be, we are therefore instructed to repent every day. As Hillel taught us, if not now, then when? Knowing that we cannot return everything, what will we do? This Shabbat encourages us to enter this holiday prepared to return what we can and to make amends wherever possible, and to vow where there is a no-return policy to do better at determining our actions from the start, to be more thoughtful in aiming our words, to be more careful in how we spend our time, to speak the helpful word in a timely fashion. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so. Shabbat Shalom, and may the year be sweet for you and yours.